Okay, Chav Dalid Amud Aleph. Okay, so we have a pasuk that says V'zar lo yikrav aleichem, which means that a stranger, somebody foreign in the Beit HaMikdash cannot do avodot. And if he did, he's going to be chayav mita. So, Amarav, Arba avodot zar chayav elen mita. There's 4 services that if a zar, a foreign stranger, does them, he's going to be chayav mita. Machlok is whether chayav mita b'tei shamayim, whether chayav.
Does it mention what a zar is?
Somebody who's not a kohen.
Just anyone who's not a kohen.
Anyone who's not a kohen. That's right. Or it could be whether it's chayav mita b'tei shamayim or chenek. Machlok is what the mita is. So what are the 4? Rav says zrika, which is sprinkling of the blood on the mizbeach. Haktara is burning the korban on the mizbeach. Nisuch hamayim, that's pouring of the water on the mizbeach by Chag Sukkot. And this nisuch hayayin, which is pouring of the wine on the mizbeach, that's throughout the whole year on different korbanot that happens. Levi has an additional limud. What's Levi's additional? He has an additional avodah. What's that one? Av Trumat Hadeshin. Somebody, a stranger, whose Trumat Hadeshin is when he takes a portion of the ashes from the mizbeach. He puts in that services where you put it on the floor next to the mizbeach. That a portion of the ashes, that is Trumat Hadeshin. If a zar does that, chayav mita. And Levi, not only that, he learns it in his own braita. V'chein tani Levi b'mitni te'eh. Av Trumat Hadeshin. When a zar does that, chayav mita. Okay, so they have a machlokas in one aspect, which is Trumat Hadeshin, Rav and Levi. Now the Gemara is going to go into Rav's explanation. Why only these 4, not the Trumat Hadeshin? It's my time at the Rav. What's the reason that Rav says only these 4?
Wait, is just Levi's saying exactly the 4 that Rav's saying, just adding a 5th one?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Trumat Hadeshin is only
He's adding it to. Okay, got
An
it.
additional one. So what's the pasuk that Rav learns out? Only these 4. Why only these 4? Here's a pasuk that says, long pasuk, V'atu v'necha itcha tishmor tkunatchem l'chol devar hamizbeach ולמבית לפרוכת ועבדתם עבודת מתנה ייתן את תכונתכם והזר הקריב yumat. So what did he learn? He makes a drush over here. He says the words over here, avodat matana. Avodat matana is a service of matana, is placement,
So considering this
is giving.
different kind of avodah because it's like you're taking.
You're actually placing. Matana is to give, is to place.
No, I'm saying Trumat Hadeshin since you're
Oh,
taking.
right. So the drush is avodat matana, but not avodat siluk. Trumat Hadeshin is siluk, is removal. So he learns out that this is not part of
The
where,
mitah part.
it's not part of where you're chayav, not zar karev yumat. That's not part of it. It's only when the zar places, not when he removes. That's one component. There's 2 conditions. One is it has to be avodat matana. The second condition is, he learns it out from the words of avadetem. Avadetem consists of 2 words, avodah and tama. Tama means that it's complete. Complete meaning it's complete avodah. There's no other avodah after it to complete it. Right? Velo avodah sheyesh acharei avodah. So all these 4 over here, they fulfill the requirements of both. Of not only it's matana, there's placement, and it's also avodah tama, mashe'en ken.
The
Trumat.
finished job.
Right, it's completed. There's nothing to be done after that in that specific avodah. Mashe'en ken Trumat Hadeshin, right? Even though Trumat Hadeshin is avodah tama, it fulfills that requirement, but still, it does not fulfill the requirement of avodat matana because it's avodat siluk. It's a removal.
Got it. They said both conditions to be present.
Correct. Correct. That's Rav. So where does Levi get? How is he able to insert Trumat Hadeshin into all this? Levi says Trumat Hadeshin also chayav mita, even though it's avodat siluk. He says Rabbi Rachmana, the Torah has a riboy, has an inclusion. What's the word of the pasuk that we just said? L'chol devar hamizbeach. L'chol devar hamizbeach is inclusive. It's everything, including matana, including siluk. It's everything relating, anything. That's his limud,
Saying,
right?
that's what what Levi's saying?
That's what Levi's saying. He's including throughout the Dashing, right? That
Including any of that with the Mizbeach.
that's-
is meant to be-
even though Avodat Siluk, because it's L'chol Devar Mizbeach.
Interesting.
But apparently it still has to be Avodat Tamah. Okay, now we get into a little more of the trying to
Wait,
understand.
how does Levi include Matadashim? What's his reasoning?
So Levi has the pasuk. It says L'chol Devar Mizbeach.
Chol Devar HaMizbeach.
Chol, which includes even Avodat Siluk.
Got it.
Okay, now the Gemara is going to just explain, get a little deeper into their sources and how we understand. So Rav, right, who says that Avodat Siluk, you're not Chayev Mita, right? He's going to tell Rebbe, he's going to say that pasuk of the whole Devar HaMizbeach, you know what he needs it for? Right? That pasuk, L'chol Devar HaMizbeach, is coming to include Sheva Hazaot Shebifnim U'Shebemitzora. That's coming to include that what? It's not coming to include Avodat Siluk. It's coming to include that Azar who goes ahead and sprinkles from the dam of the Chatat on the Heichal, on the Parochet, that's in the opening of the Kodesh Kodeshim, or the Hazaot of the Mitzora, also on the Parochet, right? So on these things, Chayav Mita. But you would think that maybe it's not relating to the Mizbeach, right? The Chol Devar Mizbeach. This is on the Parochet. So he learns out from L'chol, that this is pasuk is L'chol. It's even inclusive over there, and that's what I use this pasuk for. Okay, so that's what Rav says he uses the pasuk for. Now, what about Levi? Levi, whose drash is L'chol Devar Mizbeach, is coming to include Siluk. Nafkalei, where does he learn out the Hazaot? Right, for the Mitzora and for the Chatat. Where does he learn it out? He learns it out Midvar v'chol Devar. The Haggadah with Tziyunim says he learned out from the Lamed, from Likol Devar Mizbeach. He learns it out from the Lamed over there. That's where Levi learns that out, the Hazaot. The Rav, Devar v'chol Devar lo darish. He doesn't split it up, and he just learns it out, right? He doesn't make two drashot like Levi does it. He only has one drasha. So that's their limudim. Now the Gemara is going to.
So they agree on the Zot?
Yeah, both of them. They learn it from different places. Now the Gemara is going to get into. He's going to ask right now on the drasha of Levi. Right? Levi's drasha L'chol Devar HaMizbeach, and it's coming to include Avodat Siluk, right? L'chol Devar HaMizbeach, right? Including everything. So the Gemara is going to ask. Now, we know that, we have Torah Shebiksav, Torah Shebal Peh. The oral Torah, the written Torah. We have a lot of halachot in the oral Torah, but the source is all in the written Torah, through drashot. Now, what are those drashot? We know, we say every day in the morning time, right? There's Yud Gimel and Rabbi Yishmael Omer. Yud Gimel Midot, HaTorah Nidreshet Bahen. There's 13 ways of how we're Doresh. And one of them is, and we're going to get into one of them specifically over here. So, the Gemara says Ve'ema. We're going to ask on the Limud, right? Because we learn at Levi, he says the Chol Devar HaMizbeach. Chol Devar HaMizbeach is a generalization. It's a klal, right? All different types of avodot, and even it's going to include avodat siluk. Now the next words in the pasuk, right? Further in the pasuk is the word avodat matana. So avodat matana is a specification, right? Chol Devar HaMizbeach is a generalization. Then the pasuk says avodat matana, which is a prat. It's something specific, right? So the klal is, right, prat, right? We said we have pratu klal, uprat, ein beklal ele mashe beprat, which means that we when we have a generalization and you have a specification, the specification is coming to explain the generalization. That's what it is. So we look at the prat. The prat is coming to explain the klal. So therefore, even though l'chol devar mizbeach, you're going to say includes everything, even siluk, but no, we look at the prat, and the prat is matana. Avodat matana. So avodat matana in. That's where there's an onish of mita. But avodat siluk, lo, no, because that's right. We go by the prat. So that's the question. That's the question on Levi, Shitat Levi, because this is how everybody's does this drasha. This is how the drasha is learned out, brought to klal, and this is how it's right. So Levi, how are you explaining this? How are you maneuvering, and how are you getting into avodat siluk? How you right?
So Rav is using the.
It fits in with Rav, but that's the normal way of the drasha.
Like the laws.
Correct. He's using it properly. That's the normal way of it, right? But you,
if he's going against
it doesn't fit in with the drashot. Yud Gimel Mido. So Levi says, hold on a second. He says, Amar Kra. The pasuk says, "Beit la parochet v'avadetem." He says, you know what? If you look in the pasuk, right? The pasuk says, "L'chol dvar mizbeach," right? But it doesn't say avodat matana right afterwards. It doesn't say the prat right afterwards. There's a hefsek. It says beit la parochet v'avadetem, and then it says avodat matana. So you have a hefsek between the klal and the prat, right? It says beit la parochet v'avadetem. So you have a hefsek. Since you have a hefsek of el mi beit la parochet, mi beit la parochet is referring to the kodesh kodeshim, right? So he's going to say in the services, the avodot that are done in the Kodesh Kodashim, that's where you need avodat matana. That's where you use chiyuv mita. It's only by Kodesh Kodashim where you have avodat matana. Over there, that's where there's a chiyuv mita.
This is Levi now?
Yeah, that's how he's explaining it. That's how he's explaining it. But not by avodat siluk. In the Kodesh Kodashim, because he says there's a hefsek in between. So this that you're going to learn out, right? Beit la parochet, that's talking about Kodesh Kodashim. So avodat matana is going back on avodat Kodashim, and that's where there is chiyuv mita on avodat matana. But siluk, avodat siluk in the Kodesh Kodashim, there's no chiyuv mita over there. But what about bechutz? But outside of the Kodesh Kodashim, like the mizbeach, then that you have l'chol devar mizbeach. That's a generalization. Even avodat siluk, there's going to be chiyuv mita.
But isn't anyone chayav mita? They just walk into the Kodesh Kodashim?
I was thinking the same thing.
Even Kohanim.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. It's only the Kohen Gadol could
go there once a year.
Right.
Even if he goes during the year, he
Right.
dies.
Right. So I think that's also machloket. Whether it's just once a year, the Kohen Gadol can go. I think it's machloket.
Even if he went every single day, it's only the Kohen Gadol. It's not anyone else. No one ever else went and came out alive.
It's a great point.
It's a good point. I had the same question. I didn't get into it.
We'll speak to the rabbi.
I didn't get into it. I could look at them before Shem, but I was like, I had the same.
You have more on your plate.
I had the same. I had the same thought. But yeah, it's a very valid point.
It's very hard to say. Like, I think it's okay.
Right.
Rashi said that he's not going to the Kodesh Kodashim.
Who
He said that הוצאה כף ומחתה שהכהן גדול מכניס שם
שם.
לקטור את יום הכיפורים.
That's right.
מבין הבדים, between the two curtains.
No. Badim is the Badei HaAron. Badei HaAron. זה בקודש קודשים.
He doesn't say.
כן, זהו. זה הפשט. Badei HaAron. It's the poles of the Aron.
Definitely nobody goes inside Yom Kippurim. Definitely.
So I know it's a big machloket whether the Kohen Gadol can go in only Yom Kippurim, or even throughout the whole year he can go. Machloket, whether he could go. Okay, we're going to continue. So the Gemara says like this: Ihachi, if so, right? Then vavadetem nami el mibeit la parochet davodat tama velo avoda sheyesh acharei avoda habechutz afilo avoda sheyesh acharei avoda. So now we want to apply the same thing. We want to apply el mibeit la parochet right? That hefsek, right? Now that we have this hefsek of el mi beit la parochet, right? It's in between ben aklal la prat. We learn now that only by avodat kodashim we have the miyut, and not by avodah shebachutz. So now that we say v'avadetem, that there's no chiyuv mita only by avodah tama, not by avodah sheish achra avodah. So nami, we should also say what? That the words, the pasuk l'chol davar mizbeach is a klal to include avodah sheish achra avodah. So it sounds like we're applying the same limud. We're applying the same limud over here as before. So right now the question is on Levi. According to Levi, why is Levi adding on only Trumat Hadeshen, which is Avodat Siluk Bachutz, and he's not adding on additional Avodat Bachutz?
That is siluk.
Like, yeah. So the Gemara over here answers that what? Vavadetem, since he has a Vav, which is Vav in the beginning of Avadetem, Hadar Arve Kra. The Vav of Avadetem is connecting it to the beginning of the Pasuk of the Chol Devar Mizbeach. It's Mosif al Devar Rishon, and it's coming to tell you that the Avodat of the Mizbeach of Bachutz, we say the Miyut. And not just by Avodat Kodesh Kodashim. Okay. Now the Gemara is going to explain the difference between Kodesh Kodashim, whether Chiyav Mita in Kodesh Kodashim and outside of the Kodesh Kodashim. So by Rava, with that siluk, the voda of removing in the Heichal, right? According to Levi, what's the halacha? Is a zar that does it, is he chayav mita or not? And we have tzadeh hasafik. What are they? Lifnim midaminan lei, right? So we know about Kodesh Kodashim, and we know about Bachutz. Now the Heichal is something in between. That's the separation of between Kodesh Kodashim and Chutz. So what's the lach of the Heichal? Heichal is right in between. So do we compare Lifanim midaminan lei? Do we compare the Heichal to the Kodesh Kodashim? And you're not going to be chayav mita by avodat siluk. According to Levi, you're not chayav. Only matana. Kodesh Kodashim, only matana. Or do you compare the Heichal doing avodah on the Heichal lechutz midaminan lei? Or maybe we compare it to the chutz, and you're chayav mita on avodat siluk. So which way? Hadar pashta. So Rava he poshet the suffix, and he says the pasuk should say mi beit la parochet. It doesn't say mi beit. It adds on the words ula mi beit. From the fact that it says ula, we have a ribui. It's coming to include the heichal. That the heichal is a din, right? It's mi beit la parochet, meaning as a din of kodesh kodashim. And somebody, a zar, who does avodah siluk, is not going to be chayav mita when it comes to the heichal. Elameata, what about a zar that does the shulchan? He puts on lechem hapanim. Let him be chayav mita when he puts on the lechem hapanim. Right? The shulchan is, where's the shulchan? The shulchan is in the heichal. So, right? So let him also be chayav over there. So why are we learning only 4? Let him learn more. So the Gemara says that, ika sidur bazichin. Because you still have additional items to be done, which is putting the frankincense on the shulchan. So it's not avodat tamah. Right? Putting the lechem on the shulchan is not a complete avodah, because part of that avodah is putting on the frankincense. So the Gemara says, okay, right? So according to Rava, that avodat matana nehechel yichayv mita. So what about a zar who puts the bazichin on the shulchan? That should be chayav, right? He's finished it up. Avodat tamah, you finished it up, right? So the Gemara says no. Ika siluk vaktara. You still have the removal of the baziche levoni, you still have to remove it, and the haktara, burning it. So it's still not done. You still need to, that's still the last action. So the Gemara continues to ask on Rava and says that what? According to Rava, that Avadot Matana and the Heicho Yechayav Mita, a zar that prepares the menorah. And let him be chayav. He prepares the menorah, right? He let him be chayav. He should be chayav mita. The menorah is in the heichal. So why do we only have 4 avodot? We should have this one also. So the Gemara says that what? After the menorah, you still need to put the wicks. It's not enough just to prepare the menorah. You still need to prepare the wicks, and therefore, that's an avodah that's not tamah. It's not a complete. So you're not chayav mita on it. The Gemara says, okay, so zar that puts on petila, let him be chayav. Right? That's avodat. It's avodat matanan de hechal. So let him be chayav. Why do we only have 4? The Gemara says after he does the petila, ika nitinat shemen. Right? So it's not avodat tamah. You still have to put the shemen. The Gemara says, okay, natan shemen, a zar who puts on the shemen, lechayav, let him be chayav mita. That's avodat matanan de hechal. So why do we only have 4?
Say if we light it.
Oh, very good. Come, give the shear. Come, give the shear.
I wish. We'll be here till tomorrow.
So he says, okay, ika hadlaka. You still have the hadlaka. Therefore, it's avodat, it's not tamah. Right? So the Gemara says, okay, sar shehidlik. He lit it. Let him be chayav. So why do we only have 4? So the Gemara answered, hadlaka lav avodahi. Interesting answer. That hadlaka is not considered an avodah in the Beit HaMikdash. What does that mean?
The Torah specifically said that Aaron HaKohen היה מדליק את המנורה.
Right, but it also says, it doesn't say lahadlik, it says b'halotcha. It should go up. So it could be that it's not really an avodah. Just that it has to be lit. Lo shehu tzarich lahadlik, sheyeh nidlak. It has to be lit. B'halotcha, it has to be lit, maybe.
Show.
I don't know.
שמעת יום?
Okay.
מעניין.
So the Gemara says, really? Hadlaka lav avodah? Vatanya, we have a braita. V'natnu b'nei Aaron HaKohen esh al mizbeach. They have to put. V'natnu. Varchu etzim al esh limed al hatzat alita. This is talking about on the mizbeach. It's not talking about the menorah, right? This is talking about on the mizbeach that they have to put twigs. Why do they put twigs, smaller twigs than logs? Just to, right, to ensure that it's lit, right, that it stays lit. All right, and then ish lo tiyala b'kohen kasher. That has to be only with the kohen kasher, v'klik kasharet, meaning he has to wear the big day kuhuna. Right? That's an avodah. So we see that adlakat ha'esh on the maracha v'mizbeach, this is an avodah, right? We don't say love avodahi. It's not en bo mamash. It's something. So also the same thing. Hadlaka by the nerot, she's considered avodah. We should say the same thing, just like by the maracha, by the mizbeach, with the logs that we put in twigs, right? That's a whole avodah. You have to be the kohen. You have to wear the clothing. We should say the same thing by menorah. It's avodah, right? The Gemara says, Hatzatat alita avodahi. That lighting of the twigs over there by the maracha, avodahi. That's considered an avodah. Right? What is it, right? It doesn't really, maybe it's there's labor involved perhaps. Right? It doesn't really explain why. That's not Ketzamim, right? Again, he has to stoke it. He's got to get it. So, but hadlaka by the nerot, lav avodahi. It is no real effort, perhaps, in doing it, right? By the logs and the twigs, you got to get it going. There's some work there. There's avodah.
You use the logs and twigs for the menorah, no?
No.
Oh, you're talking about for the...
My name is Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. It's 2 separate things. We're taking comparison, just like over there by the Marach Mizbeach. He has to put twigs to get those logs
But it's
going.
not really an avodah. It's more of like an extra...
You're saying it's avodah mamash by the Maracha, by Mizbeach.
But then you're saying over there it's not an avodah.
So
by
we're,
the menorah.
in the end, we're comparing. We're saying it should be. Gemara says no, lav avodahi. Maybe there's not so much tircha. Not really anything going on. You're just lighting it. It's not much going on over there. That's what the Gemara leaves off. What that means, lav avodahi. It's not considered an avodah, right? Yeah. That's what to talk about over here.
So if that's the case, so Zar, they do the Avodah. If you're saying it's not Avodah, keep what you say.
Yeah. So then,
Zar שזה דרך הלכה, לחייב. Because if you said that the Avodah is to put the logs on the Mizbeach.
oh, yeah, that's the mizbeach,
Right.
right?
So that's Avodah.
That's an avodah over there.
So Zar that did it, why we said Zar is a kasher to put the...
We never really spoke about the maracha. We're just bringing comparison to the
Yeah.
mizbeach,
Right.
right? But we don't mention it as one of them. Maybe it's not avodah tamah over there.
So before we said that Zar, he can put the logs and can do the Sidur.
We didn't say that.
Huh?
We didn't say that.
He's going to say it now. If that's the case, so Zar שזה דרך הלכה, לחייב.
Okay,
Why
so
is Zar is
let's
patur?
hold on. So let's get there, and then Okay. Okay. So what are we saying now? So Maisa, we said, yeah. Now Gemara is asking, Elamayata. According to you, that says Zerika Dam is Avodah Tama, right? It's the last. So Zar Sidar the Maracha, and he put the wood on it. Let him be Yitchayev, right? You should be Lichayev. You should be Chayev Mita, right? Let him be Chayev. Meaning, there's nothing else after it. I'm assuming that's what we're saying. By Sidur Atzei Maracha, that's the last of the avodah of the Maracha. So let him be Chayav. But no. But that's just the Sidur Maracha, right? That's just the logs. It says, you know what? No. After you do the logs, you still have to do something else. Ikur Sidur Shnei Gzeri Itzim. What is that? Sidur Shnei, right? So what exactly is that? You have to put on, together with the Korban Tamid, you have to put on, I guess, additional logs, right? There's some additional logs over there that so it's not 100% done yet. So it's not avodat tamah.
So you do that and then you do the actual avodah of korban.
Right, haktara. Right. So then Sidur Shnei Gezerei Tzim L'chayev. Okay, so let's say he did the Shnei Gezerei L'chayev. Let him be chayev over there. That's the last avodah of the Atzei Maracha. So why isn't this counted? Let it be counted as one of the four. The Gemara says that after the Sidur Shnei Gezerei Tzim, Ika Sidur Avarim. So it's the placement of the limbs of the Korban Tamid on the fire, and that's part of the Maracha. That's part of the Sidur Maracha. It's not considered a separate service. It's all part of it, and therefore, it's not considered Avodat Hama without the Sidur Avarim. Okay? Now, the Gemara is going to continue and ask, a stranger that was misader to the Gzeritzim with the Korban Tamid.
It's like I'm saying korbanot in the morning.
Right. Chayav, should be Chayav Mita. So what do we see here? It is considered Avodat Tama. That's considered Avodat Tama. Right? Because it's, right? What does the Gemara answer? Actually did not get to this. Bahapligi. So it sounds like there's a machloket over here. Where it says that what? The Rav argues in Rabbi Yochanan and doesn't count Avodat Sidur Shnei Gezeritzim with the Zar Shechayev Lamita. Doesn't it? Because they're arguing. What are they arguing? If Sidur Shnei Gezeritzim, it's considered Avodat Tama, even though there is Sidur Avarim. There's the limbs. Ma Rabbi Yochanan says Savar Avodat Tamahi. No, that's finished. Right? Chayav Mita. Rav says no. It's not Avodat Tama, right? Because the Avodat Sidur of the Maracha is one thing, right? and it's not avodat tama. Okay. Tanya could say the Rav. We have a brayso that says according to Rav. Right? And we have a Tanya brayso that says like Levi. That what? The Trumadesh and your chayav mita. The Gemara says Tanya could say the Rav. The brayso that says just like Rav. What does that brayso says? Avodot shazar chayav mita is rikat dam. Right? Is the sprinkling of the blood. Right, on the, right, ben lifnim, whether it's the haza'ah on the heichal of the parochet, in the opening of the Kodesh Kodashim, or ben lifnim, or whether in the Kodesh Kodashim, which is ben badei haron, right? And also mazeh bechatat of, he sprinkles chatat of on the mizbeach, matzeh, he squeezes the blood, right, the maktir and burning of the basar on the mizbeach, balat ha'of, and menasech shosha lugin mayim, that's on the Chag Sukkot, and shoshat lugin yain, that's throughout the whole year of nisuch hayayin. We see in this brayso does not mention Trumat HaDeshen. So this brayso holds like Rav, Trumat HaDeshen, you're not chayav mita. That's the brayso like Rav. Tanya comes to the Levi, we have a brayso just like Levi. What are the vadot shesar chayav mita? Hamirim et HaDeshen. There you go, right there. Sheva hazaot shebifnim, the 7 sprinklings on the heichal, and sheva metzora, v'maleh al gabe mizbeach. Somebody puts on the mizbeach to be maktir, bein davar kasher, whether something's kosher for hakrava, bein davar pasul, whether it's something that's pasul. All these things chayav mita. So we see listed over here, a brayta like Levi. Ad kan.
Suck.